This story begins one day in the bustling streets of Aldea Town, where a mysterious red-haired girl exclaims she has finally found her target, grabbing the arm of a young man and insisting they get going immediately, while another woman with similar red hair smiles and echoes the same urgent plea. On another day, the same young man tries to enjoy a quiet drink alone in a tavern, but his peace is shattered when a woman in a nun's habit approaches him, urgently insisting that he must accompany her back to their estate, revealing a second, identical-looking nun who smiles alongside her companion. Then on yet another day, a blonde girl tries to get his attention in the tavern, but our boy dismisses her, claiming he is too busy for games today, leaving her to physically drag him away while insisting Ramai finally has free time. And a second blonde woman with a hat joins in, pleading for just a little of his time. Utterly exhausted by the constant attention, he can only wonder why this keeps happening to him. His situation is so strange that the only way to understand it is to go back in time. Back to a fateful night in a dark, mysterious forest where it all began. In the dead of night, two menacing figures single out the new guy in their camp. Our protagonist, Kai, nervously answers their summons, unsure of their intentions. This leader gives Kai his orders: stand guard over the hostages they have hauled from Wafer Town. With a cruel smirk, he adds that Kai should silence any hostages who start to yell. Leaving Kai alone with the grim task, the man dismisses the hostages as too weak to resist. This weight of his new role as a captor settles heavily on his shoulders. His mind reels, desperately trying to piece together how his life took this dark turn. A flash of memory reveals a horrific car accident, his last thought before everything went black. Then he awoke in this unfamiliar world, completely disoriented and without any answers. But looking up at the sky with its two distinct moons, a strange feeling of recognition sparks within him. It is the world of fancy, roomy fantasy, the very game he was playing just before the accident. Snapping back to reality, he understands his dire situation. He has been reincarnated as a villain's lackey. This sheer absurdity and horror of his predicament washes over him, leaving him breathless. His attention is suddenly drawn to the covered wagon nearby, the one holding the hostages, and peering inside, he is horrified to find not just a wagon, but an iron cage. He realizes the hostages mentioned are the very girls he sees locked in this cage. A chilling thought strikes him. In this world, useless villains are simply eliminated, making his position precarious. His immediate instinct is to just run for it, to get away from this place right now. To survive, he will need money and a map, justifying taking them from these villains. Studying the map, he feels confident that his knowledge of this world will guarantee his escape. But before he flees for his own safety, a different thought stops him in his tracks. With his lantern held high, he approaches the iron cage, startling the captive women inside. He struggles to find the right words, his attempt to communicate coming out as a nervous mumble. Finally, he makes his offer clear, suggesting they all escape from this prison together. These women react with disbelief and suspicion, questioning his sudden proposal to help them. Immediately, the red-haired captive accuses him of trying to set some kind of trap for them. Her white-haired companion tearfully demands a single reason why they should ever trust him now. Faced with their raw distrust, our boy is left completely speechless and unable to respond. His silence is all the proof she needs, confirming her belief that he is just another enemy. Then he bows his head in apology, explaining it took time to infiltrate the enemy lines. This red-haired woman's eyes burn with defiance, shielding her weeping friend from view. Holding a lantern against the night, a young man reveals his identity as an intelligence agent. Admitting to himself it is a lie, he knows gaining their trust is the only priority now. He desperately urges them to hurry, his own life on the line if they are discovered. But the red-haired woman despairs, her injured leg making any escape seem impossible. Her white-haired companion then reveals her own condition: she cannot see at all. A third captive, a blonde girl named Ramai, is completely worn out and sick besides. Their hope crumbles, believing that even if they escape this place, they will just die on the road. Yet the white-haired woman offers a small thanks, finding relief that he is not an enemy. Her simple gratitude catches him completely off guard. Just then, a weak sound echoes as a hand presses against the floorboards. It is Ramai, collapsing and desperately pleading for help from the others. This sight stuns him into a moment of shocked silence. His expression hardens, a fist clenching with sudden, unwavering resolve. Declaring that escape is their only choice, he vows to carry them if they cannot walk. This women stare in utter disbelief, questioning his impossible promise to save them all. But Kai insists they will be fine, revealing he has a map and knows the area well. He urges the other two to grab on as well, declaring they are leaving immediately. And so he carries them through the dark forest under the light of two moons. While running, he is surprised by the strength of this new body, so unlike his old one. Shaking off the distraction, he forces himself to focus on the escape at hand. For now, he is just relieved that no one seems to be chasing after them yet. His thoughts then turn back to the map he stole from the villains earlier. It shows Aldea Town, a name he recognizes from his time playing the game. This confirms that his original game data might still exist in this world somehow. With this knowledge, he knows exactly which direction they need to head right now. He adjusts his grip on the three women, continuing his desperate trek through the woods. After a long journey, he finally announces that they have made it to their destination. This white-haired woman looks up in confusion, asking where he has brought them. Kai explains that this secluded treehouse is a personal hideout he made for himself. A memory of a glowing runestone flashes in his mind, a key from the game. He instructs the women to wait for him, leaving them huddled together in concern. His hand glows with magic as he tries to recall the specific keyword from the game. This magic flares, revealing a hidden doorway in the forest floor, much to their surprise. Stepping inside, he finds a dusty but intact safe house just as he remembered. He then gently helps the weakened Ramai to rest, her condition still dire. This red-haired woman watches him, admitting he is clearly no ordinary intelligence agent. As he assists the white-haired woman, she marvels at the existence of this hidden treehouse. Sitting with them, he brushes off their amazement, claiming he is just as surprised. But their relief is short-lived as they look over at Ramai, worried she will not make it. Tapping into his game knowledge again, Kai believes there should be useful items stored here. Desperate, the red-haired woman asks if there is any food they can give to Ramai. Kai starts searching through a container, admitting that finding something edible might be tricky. Inside a chest, he discovers a stash of potions, confirming the game's inventory system is intact. He offers a potion as medicine, but the red-haired woman doubts it can help someone so weak. Kai presents a glowing purple potion, leaving the red-haired woman completely stunned. He explains this is not normal medicine, hoping its unique properties will be enough. But she is fixated on its otherworldly color, pointing in utter disbelief. Our boy smirks, confirming its rarity and crediting his obsessive knowledge of the game. This is a legendary elixir capable of instantly curing all injuries and ailments. He offers the miraculous cure to the captive women, who stare in total shock. A quick calculation reveals he has over 100 of these valuable potions left. Their suspicion grows, realizing no mere intelligence agent would possess such a treasure. Caught in his lie, Kai can only sweat nervously under their intense scrutiny. He quickly deflects their questions, insisting it is safer for them not to know more, urging them both to drink the potions he has brought for them. Admitting he has no desire to physically carry all three of them to safety. This white-haired woman tearfully asks if this legendary elixir is real and if there is one for her. With a simple confirmation, he hands her a bottle of her own. And she clutches the impossible cure, her face a mask of pure disbelief. Kai pulls out a healing potion, promising the exhausted Ramai that her suffering is over. He carefully administers the strange purple liquid, hoping it will be enough to save her. This potion's magic begins to take hold, a warmth spreading through her weakened body. A vibrant purple energy envelops her, instantly mending her sickness before their very eyes. Stunned by the potion's incredible power, Kai can only watch in utter amazement. Her eyes flutter open, a weak but genuine thank you passing her lips for his help. Gently helping her up, he advises her to rest, as the potion cannot cure mental exhaustion. With the last of his precious potions now used, he has gambled everything on this escape. This other two captives are also miraculously healed, their injuries and ailments vanishing completely. Already, Kai begins daydreaming about the reward he will get for bringing them home safely. His thoughts are shattered by their cries of joy as they regain their sight and strength. Overwhelmed by their emotional recovery, he tries to find the right words for the moment. Deciding to give them some space, he watches the two friends embrace in tearful disbelief. Their journey together continues, and by the next day they have found temporary shelter. He is shocked to learn they were taken from Aldia Town, a place 2 whole towns away. Kai sighs, realizing their journey back to town is going to be a long one. This red-haired woman snaps back, placing all the blame on the villains who captured them. Joking about warp magic, he gets a sharp retort that such power is only a legend. Our boy can only offer an awkward laugh, admitting she has a very fair point. In his mind, he laments that this new body is just a low-ranked treasure hunter. Meanwhile, the white-haired woman recalls a legend about the sole user of warp magic. Brushing it off as just a story, Kai decides to change the subject. He turns to the two women, asking how they are feeling after their miraculous recovery. With a grateful smile, Nina explains she is still adjusting to her restored sight. Her red-haired friend confirms her own leg is completely healed, expressing her gratitude as well. She then insists on proper introductions, revealing her noble name, Karen Dior Aldi. Following her lead, the white-haired woman introduces herself as Nina Qualier Ansage. Karen also confirms the identity of their sleeping companion, Ramai Trelia Albolra. Kai sweats nervously, struggling to remember all their complicated fantasy names. Shaking it off, he refocuses on their mission, but Karen questions if he can truly protect them. Kai looks down, admitting he cannot guarantee their absolute safety on this journey. This red-haired woman reacts in shock, demanding to know why he cannot promise it. He explains that in this world, unlike a game, there are no certainties when lives are on the line. His knowledge has limits, and he refuses to gamble with their actual lives to find them. She argues back, pointing out they have no idea how many enemies are out there. Her white-haired friend agrees, insisting that avoiding combat is their only real chance for survival. They both understand the grim reality that in this world, they only get one life. And so Kai confirms his strategy is to do everything possible to avoid a direct fight. This red-haired woman then asks him if he actually has a concrete plan for them. He gives a vague, almost evasive answer that leaves them both completely confused. His lack of a clear response leaves the two women utterly dumbfounded and worried. Finally, Kai begins to explain his theory, believing the kidnappers are watching Wafer Town. Pointing to the map, he notes it is the closest town and where the villains will expect them to go. So instead of heading north, he proposes they travel south through the forest to another settlement. But the red-haired woman immediately raises a concern, reminding him they have no money. Kai offers them the stolen money, explaining they will need new clothes to avoid suspicion. Still suspicious, the white-haired woman asks why he is helping them so much. She points out the holes in his story, from the priceless elixir to his broken cover as an agent. Caught in his lie, Kai can only offer a weak, nervous agreement. Internally, he panics over how terrible he is at deception, his cover story already crumbling. Trying to recover, he claims he is just following orders and that they should be grateful. His deflection is cut short when he notices Ramai staring intently at him from her bed. Startled by her gaze, he nervously asks if she has been awake this whole time. Ramai confirms she is awake, implying she overheard his entire clumsy attempt at lying. Changing the subject, Kai suggests they refine their plan and tells them to wash up after dark. But the white-haired woman offers an alternative, revealing she can use purification magic. He then decides to go to the river himself, letting her use her magic on the other two. This surprises the red-haired woman, who notes how useful that magic would be for an agent. Kai explains that powerful magic attracts notice, but she remains unconvinced he is just some ordinary guy. Meanwhile, the white-haired woman casts her purification spell, cleansing her friends with glowing blue energy. Taking a moment to recover from their ordeal, Kai finds a secluded spring to rest in. After their rest, he gathers the women to review the map for their final approach. Donning a full suit of intimidating armor from the hideout, he urges them to follow. Fully disguised, he leads the three women through the night towards their destination. 1 week later in Aldea town, a knight frantically shouts orders for an urgent report. Observing the scene from a distance, Kai notes the town's unusually high activity. His companions, now cloaked for their own safety, express relief at their arrival. That same knight spots them, overjoyed to see Lady Karen, Nina, and Ramai are safe. But Karen quickly gives all credit to their armored rescuer, explaining he saved them all. Completely overwhelmed, the knight bows deeply, offering his most profound gratitude for their rescue. He then directs the three ladies to wait inside the nearby gatehouse for an escort. As they prepare to part ways, Nina turns to Kai, asking what he plans to do now. Sweating inside his helmet, he vaguely claims he will just stay in town for a bit. Karen immediately interjects, demanding to know his actual plans from this point on, specifically asking if he will report to his superiors, a question that makes him flinch. Cornered by their questions, Kai internally admits he is just bluffing his way through this. While the knight offers a reward, the women insist on repaying him later, an offer Kai silently refuses. Unlike in the game, the constant vigilance has taken its toll, leaving him utterly exhausted. Still in his armor, Kai instructs the women to follow the guards, warning them not to relax just yet. Though Karen complains about his caution, both she and Nina offer their heartfelt thanks for his help. Suddenly, Ramai grabs onto his armor, prompting him to address her directly. Averting her gaze, she gives a quiet, hesitant agreement to his warning. This lead knight takes over, telling Kai he will handle the rest as the women are led away. Overwhelmed with gratitude, the knight bows deeply, but Kai awkwardly tries to wave him off. Feeling the pressure, he nervously announces his intention to just head into town and disappear. Receiving a warm welcome, our boy finally steps onto the cobblestone streets of the city. As he walks away, two of the knights watch him go, one clearly stunned by his presence. Staring after him, the lead knight marvels at their rescuer, calling him unbelievable. But his expression darkens, concluding that the armored man is a monster, plain and simple. His appraisal skill failed, identifying Kai only as a rare dungeon item, his true abilities a total mystery. These knights are stunned by his supposed level 8 rank, a feat only top clans have achieved. They recall how he single-handedly dismantled the brutal Red Freed Syndicate to save them all. One knight notes his cautious approach, always prioritizing the women's safety above all else. His professionalism convinces them he must be a seasoned and experienced veteran, leaving the other guards to blush and wonder about the hero beneath the helmet. Another guard scolds the knight for not even checking the rescuer's identity, a clear breach of duty. But the knight argues they could not possibly treat their savior like a common criminal. His companions realize that casually using 3 legendary elixirs makes his high rank seem plausible. This captain, however, seems completely unaware of the legendary potions used in the rescue, so his men explain how all 3 captives were cured of their ailments instantly. They heard from the women that he handed over the priceless medicine without a second thought. Both knights can only laugh in disbelief at the sheer insanity of his heroic feat. Realizing the gravity of the situation, the captain orders an urgent report to the higher-ups, demanding his subordinates immediately inform the Hunters Guild about this mysterious warrior. Meanwhile, Karen's true identity is revealed as the daughter of a ducal house of the highest nobility. These women he saved are revealed as major figures, like Nina from the Holy Church's founding bloodline, and Ramai, the daughter of a powerful leader overseeing countless commercial organizations. They recall how their rescuer casually dismissed a reward valuable enough to build a castle, while rumors paint him as a legendary conqueror holding an item from a level 8 dungeon. This perception even reaches a member of the Empire's elite peacekeeping force, Verder. Back in the present, Kai finally arrives in Aldea town, taking in the scenery. These streets and buildings are a perfect replica of the town from his game, and in the distance he can already spot the familiar Treasure Hunter Guild. While he wants to explore, the arduous journey has left him completely exhausted. His intimidating armor is drawing unwanted attention from all the townspeople, making him uneasy. Turning to one of the onlookers, his simple question terrifies the poor man. He is confused by the reaction, thinking more adventurers would be armored like him. But then he recalls this gear is a rare item, equipped specifically to boost his stats. Deciding the armor is the problem, he resolves to quickly find an inn and lay low, but his escape is cut short by an excited voice exclaiming how cool he looks. A small girl suddenly clings to Kai's armored leg, leaving him utterly confused. Meanwhile, at a grand estate, a voice expresses overwhelming relief at Karen's safe return. Inside, her father embraces her in a tearful reunion, completely overcome with emotion, and he begs for just a moment longer, admitting how terribly worried he was for her. Composing himself, he confirms her leg was truly healed by the legendary universal elixir. Karen happily shows off her full recovery, noting even her father's influence could not acquire that cure. Her father reflects on how their rescuer casually handed out such a priceless item. She then complains that Kai simply told her to pay him back someday instead of accepting proper thanks. Holding a report, the man asks for confirmation that a single intelligence agent rescued them all. This reveal stuns Karen, who had assumed her own father sent Kai to save them. He immediately denies it, explaining he has no connection to anyone with such power or resources. Karen recalls Kai's vague explanation, wondering about his true motives for the rescue. Her father speculates that as an agent, Kai's mission must have been targeting the kidnappers, theorizing he had advanced intelligence on the notorious crime syndicate Red Freed. But his ultimate goal remains a mystery, prompting the father to send an official letter of thanks. Eager to help, Karen offers her support, but her father warns it would only endanger Kai further. An agent's identity must remain secret, he explains, as any exposure could be a death sentence. Stunned, Karen asks if he actually knows the organization Kai works for, and her father confirms he does. A message arrived 2 days prior, he reveals, confirming the entire Red Freed syndicate was captured near Wafer Town. This mention of Wafer Town triggers a memory for Karen, realizing Kai knew the villains were there all along. And that is precisely why he led them on the long, southern route to avoid a direct confrontation. Looking over a report, her father declares his suspicions about their rescuer's background are now confirmed. He speculates the force that captured Red Freed was none other than the Imperial Direct Control Unit, Verter. This name, Verter, leaves Karen completely stunned and speechless. This legendary organization is a covert unit operating directly under the Imperial capital to maintain order. Composed of the world's most elite treasure hunters, they are a force of unparalleled skill, a true elite among elites feared by all who oppose the Empire. Her father concludes Kai must hold a command position within Verter, authorized to operate completely alone. He then warns Karen to never reveal his true identity, explaining the agent's story was just a cover for the rescue. Visibly shaken by the revelation, Karen quietly agrees to keep his secret safe. Determined to repay the debt, her father plans to track Kai down by his unique armor. This duke then instructs Karen to find someone named Lifia to help invite their rescuer. Eager to help, Karen immediately rushes off to carry out her father's orders. Alone once more, the duke sits back in his chair, lost in thought about their savior. He internally swears to repay the man who saved his daughter no matter how long it takes. Knowing the other rescued girls' families are just as powerful, he is sure they feel the same. This following day, Kai finally gets a moment to relax, enjoying a good meal at an inn. A friendly innkeeper smiles, glad to see the young adventurer enjoying his meal so heartily. But then the man gets curious, asking if Kai is the one who wore the black armor. Relieved by his polite demeanor, the innkeeper notes he is unlike the usual rowdy adventurers. Correctly guessing he is not a local, the man asks where he is from, getting a vague answer. Just then, their conversation is interrupted by a knight peering into the dining hall. He asks aloud if anyone wearing a full suit of jet black gear has visited the establishment. Both the innkeeper and Kai are caught completely off guard by the pointed question. Their shocked expressions reveal the truth. The hunt for the mysterious hero has officially begun. Panicked, Kai pleads with the innkeeper to hide him from whoever is searching for him. This innkeeper stammers, recognizing the authority of the duke's men who are approaching. Just then, a knight enters the tavern, asking about a man in jet black gear. Promising to take full responsibility, Kai desperately begs the terrified man for his help. Putting on a brave face, the innkeeper lies to the knight, claiming no one matching that description has arrived. With the immediate threat gone, the two are left alone at the bar. Leaning in close, the innkeeper demands to know exactly who this kid is, but their conversation is cut short by a nun from the Holy Church asking a similar question. Recognizing another powerful faction, the innkeeper panics as Kai once again begs for his silence. Forced to lie a second time, he tells the nun that no such person has visited his establishment. She accepts his answer and thanks him for his time before departing. Yet another knight bursts in, sending Kai diving under the counter as the innkeeper is slammed against it. Through a strained smile, the man repeats his lie for a third time, denying everything. This knight finally leaves, wondering aloud where her target could have possibly gone. Now truly alone, the innkeeper turns to the terrified boy hiding under his bar. This innkeeper panics, revealing the powerful Big Three are now hunting for Kai. His face contorts in pure terror, realizing the danger our boy has brought to his doorstep. After Kai claims ignorance, the man furiously throws him out, screaming at him to leave town immediately. Cast out and alone, Kai trembles in a dark alley, wondering what he is supposed to do now. Meanwhile, in a luxurious room, Nina checks on Karen, who insists she is perfectly fine after her recovery. Gently holding her foot, Nina confirms that the legendary elixir truly healed Karen's leg completely. A grateful Karen smiles, thanking Nina for always taking care of her during her injury. While happy for her friend, Nina admits she will miss their daily routine of helping her. Her expression then shifts to a more serious one as she changes the subject. She questions how they still have not found their rescuer, especially since he was with a child. Karen scoffs in frustration, certain that Kai is intentionally hiding from them. With a worried look, Nina reveals that her father has told her everything about the situation. They both wonder if Kai is in trouble for using the priceless elixirs to save them. Realization dawns on Karen as she figures out he lied about the potions being his personal stash. Nina speculates he did it to hide his connection to a secret organization, maintaining his cover. A worried Karen hopes their rescuer will not face a heavy punishment for his actions. Ramai playfully teases Karen for being so down, reminding her Kai came to save them alone. With a playful wink, she clarifies she never said Karen's concern was a bad thing. Flustered by the teasing, Karen can only pout in embarrassed frustration. Ramai then reflects on how wonderful their rescuer is, risking his life for them all. She reveals that Nina and the others feel the same, eager to thank him as soon as possible. Yet Ramai boldly declares she is the one who thinks about him the most. A flustered Karen denies being worked up, but her expression tells a different story. Back at the inn, the keeper tells Kai he did nothing wrong but warns that hiding will only get harder. Rumors are flying all over town, he explains, and the search for our boy is intensifying. Kai groggily concludes that with no other suspects, he must be the one they are hunting. Pointing directly at him, the innkeeper confirms he fits the bill, making Kai fear the consequences. He worries the lightest punishment would be a permanent ban from town, especially with the big three involved. Admitting this is tough, the innkeeper offers a crucial piece of advice. Do not change inns, because word is out that a 3 million Rajil reward is offered for reporting his location. Stunned, Kai demands to know why the innkeeper did not betray him for the 3 million gold reward. Wiping his face, the innkeeper explains he is in too deep now, deducing Kai is an important figure. Despite Kai's denial, the man's knowing smile shows he clearly does not believe a word of it. He then advises Kai to enjoy the town today but be ready to leave in his armor tomorrow just in case. With a final word of encouragement, the innkeeper sends him off to explore the town for the day. Now outside, Kai resolves to enjoy himself, even if he might be forced to flee tomorrow. He wanders through the bustling streets, determined to make the most of his limited time here. His eyes land on a familiar clock tower, a place he decides to visit one last time. A grimace crosses his face as he recalls the tower's ridiculously steep entrance fee, but knowing he might be banned tomorrow, he decides the price is worth paying. This long climb up the winding staircase gives him a moment to reflect on his situation. Reaching the top, his thoughts are suddenly interrupted by an unexpected presence. A mysterious red-haired woman in an elegant dress and mask stands before him. She turns slightly, a faint, knowing smile playing on her lips from behind the mask, leaving our boy completely speechless, wondering who this stranger could possibly be. A nervous young man stumbles upon a mysterious woman in a clock tower. This red-haired, masked lady greets him with a calm and knowing smile. He recalls rumors of a special character here, deciding to remain cautious for now. Both of them stand in silence, taking in the golden hour view of the city below. She breaks the quiet, commenting on how the scenery is perfect for clearing one's thoughts. Looking out over the town, the young man cannot help but agree with her assessment. He then turns to her, curiously asking what brought her to this secluded place. But he quickly answers for her, assuming she is here for the same reason he is. Changing the subject, she asks if he knows anything about the man in jet black armor. This question catches him off guard, and he nervously admits the armored man is a hot topic. She reveals that many are searching for this hero, including herself, hoping to meet him personally. Confused by the intense search, the young man wonders if the armored figure committed some crime. This masked woman quickly reassures him that is not the case at all. As other search parties pass by, he presses her for the real reason behind the manhunt. She simply apologizes, explaining that the information is unfortunately confidential. Kai looks out over the city, relieved to know they are not hunting him for malicious reasons. Just then, a woman announces her escort has arrived outside the Grand Clock Tower. Before he can leave, she stops him, making him brace for what is coming next. Putting on a friendly face, he asks what she needs from him. With a mysterious smile, she cryptically mentions hoping for progress on their matter soon. Thanking him for his concern, the woman turns to depart. He watches her descend the stairs, her identity still a complete mystery to him. Left alone, Kai can only wonder about the true identity of the enigmatic woman. Meanwhile, the woman is greeted by Karen, who has come to personally escort her. Karen suggests that by going out together, they might finally be able to find their rescuer. Feeling like a sidekick, Karen complains, but her companion quickly reassures her of her importance. This woman apologizes with a gentle smile, ending their lighthearted argument. Though Karen finds the mask embarrassing, she admits she is glad her companion is there with her. Changing the subject, the woman reveals she just met someone at the clock tower for the first time. Karen immediately grows suspicious, wondering if this stranger was investigating her friend based on rumors. This masked woman admits she was wary of the stranger at first, but soon realized he was harmless. She even recalls their conversation as a special moment, noting his unusual way of speaking. Despite asking about the armored man, she laments that she could not get any new information from him. Karen doubts he has left town, certain the gate guards would have reported such a departure. Her companion then remembers a strange phrase he used, something about things slowing down. Interrupting, Karen presses for a description of the man she met at the tower. She describes a charming man with a calm demeanor and a scar by his eye, prompting Karen to ask which side. Confirming the scar was on his left, the woman suddenly understands Karen's shock. A jolt of realization sends Karen leaping to her feet in a complete panic. She frantically orders her escort to turn around and race back to the clock tower immediately. Her companion looks on with concern, asking if Karen is absolutely certain about this. Karen furiously confirms it, pointing out the scar matches their rescuer's description. She explains the detail was a secret to protect him, as more witnesses make his life harder. Her friend is left speechless, processing the incredible coincidence of their meeting. Their carriage speeds through the streets, desperately trying to catch him before he is gone. Karen and her masked companion peer out from their carriage, ready to begin their search. With renewed determination, Karen rushes ahead toward the clock tower, her companion following closely. As she hurries up the stairs, the masked woman follows with an amused, knowing smile. But upon reaching the top, her companion confirms their target is already gone. Meanwhile, at the Aldea Town Hunters Guild, a different kind of investigation is underway. Inside, the Guildmaster Garag fumes over the complete lack of intel on the armored man. He reviews a report from 3 days prior, detailing a man in jet black gear, possibly from Verder. This same man single-handedly rescued the daughters of the Big Three from the Red Freed. This attack on an imperial town makes Verder's involvement seem entirely plausible, he reasons. With every piece of evidence, the theory that a secret organization was involved becomes more convincing. He issues a strict order to all treasure hunters. No one is to make contact with their target. Yet he recalls that one of the hunters already broke that rule when her child bumped into him. This small child had clung to the imposing armored man, completely unafraid. Her mother apologized profusely after Kai even carried the girl in his arms for a moment. Utterly exasperated, the guildmaster just wishes the mysterious operative would return to the capital already. A frantic guild receptionist bursts in, shouting that they have a serious problem. She reports to the guildmaster that the infamous Jet Black has just entered their establishment. This man groans in disbelief, clearly not ready for this kind of high-stakes trouble, and there he is, Kai in his full suit of armor, standing silently at the front counter. Approaching the imposing warrior, the guildmaster prepares to greet his unexpected guest. He puts on an uncharacteristically polite smile, surprising the other adventurers in the hall. Onlookers whisper amongst themselves, finding the guildmaster's sudden courtesy suspicious. With a strained expression, the man asks what business brings the armored warrior here today. Kai simply claims he is just here to have a look around the guild hall. This guildmaster offers a formal welcome, thanking him for taking the time to visit, but his smile turns predatory as he repeats Kai's flimsy excuse back to him. This sudden change in demeanor leaves our boy completely confused, wondering what he said wrong. Quickly, the guildmaster laughs it off, insisting that everything is perfectly fine. Internally, however, he scoffs at the terrible lie, recognizing it as poor reconnaissance. He speculates that Kai knows his cover is blown, so he is not even trying to bluff. A guild official is left in awe, admitting the armored hero is on a completely different level. He reflects on his own past, dreaming of being scouted but never once getting the chance. But seeing Kai's overwhelming power makes him realize he is face to face with a true monster. Humbly admitting he is outclassed, the man offers to escort Kai to the guildmaster's office. Kai accepts the offer, surprising the official who seems honored to guide him through the hall. As he leads the way, the man encourages the imposing adventurer to take his time. Catching the attention of nearby adventurers who watch the armored man pass with stunned expressions. This group at the table immediately begins whispering as Kai is led deeper into the guild. One of the men turns to his friends, asking what they make of the imposing newcomer. His companion notes that Kai seemed to be inviting a fight, leaving himself completely unguarded, causing a woman at the table to tremble, realizing they could not stop him if he turned hostile. Her friend agrees with a sigh, concluding they would not stand a chance against such strength, while another smirks, wondering aloud how he'd fare against a legendary S-rank monster. Unbeknownst to our boy, a chain reaction of wild misunderstandings is spreading through the city, and all these false rumors are making his already complicated situation far more dangerous. Finally leaving the guild, Kai is relieved to be back in the open air. Internally, he vows never to return to such a terrifying place again. His plan to blend in with the armor completely backfired, drawing unwanted attention. He still cannot understand why everyone stared at him like a professional assassin. This guildmaster's polite demeanor was especially confusing, a complete departure from his game persona, and the VIP treatment he received only adds to his growing bewilderment. Shaking his head, he chalks it all up to a very strange experience. Now on the street, our boy is left wondering what his next move should be, realizing he cannot exactly go sightseeing while wearing this intimidating suit of armor. Just then, a luxurious carriage suddenly pulls up right beside him. This door flies open, revealing Karen, who shouts that she has finally found him. She demands to know where he has been hiding all this time. Nervously, Kai admits he has been staying at a local in the whole time. This answer infuriates Karen, who claims they never received that information. He explains he asked the owner for secrecy, which only makes her angrier. Karen's frustration boils over, wishing he would just admit who he really is. Her companion, however, calmly accepts that he must have his reasons for staying silent. Turning to Karen, the woman asks for her thoughts on the armored man before them, but Kai suddenly recognizes her voice and hair, realizing exactly who he is speaking to. It is Lifia Dior Aldi, one of the women he rescued, now offering her deepest apologies and thanks. Overwhelmed with gratitude, she can barely find the words to express how she feels. She then makes a sudden request, asking if he has any free time to spare today. Wary of the unexpected invitation, Kai cautiously asks what she has in mind. Lifia explains they wish to take him to their estate to thank him properly for his heroism. Considering his schedule is completely empty, Kai sees no reason to refuse their offer. These two women exchange a knowing, triumphant glance, their plan working perfectly. Before he can protest, Karen grabs his arm, insisting he come along with them. She pleads for him to at least let them show their gratitude in a formal way. With a comfortable carriage already prepared, she begins pulling the armored man along. Caught completely off guard, Kai can only stare in disbelief as he is dragged away. Inside the guildmaster's office, Karen and her companion greet Kai with cheerful smiles. But our boy feels less like a guest and more like a prisoner being escorted. This masked woman's friend explains that accepting their thanks saves their family's honor. He agrees on the surface, though he admits he does not understand their noble customs. Taking the opportunity, Karen steps forward with a serious question she needs to ask. Her friend immediately teases her for being too formal and creeping their guest out. Annoyed, Karen snaps that she will just ask in her usual, more direct way. Kai simply gestures for her to proceed, curious about what she wants to know. She asks if using so many expensive universal elixirs to save them caused him any trouble, speculating that this might be the real reason he has been hiding from the public eye. He casually denies it was any trouble, leaving both women completely speechless. Karen is utterly shocked, unable to process his nonchalant response to such a huge cost. Grabbing his arm, she insists on helping if he is secretly shouldering this burden alone. Even her companion looks on with deep concern as Kai seems to reflect on her words. He tells her not to worry about him, but to instead enjoy the freedom he fought to give her. These women recall his stoic words, seeing him as a noble hero handling his own burdens. His declaration leaves both of them completely flustered and speechless. In the carriage, they thank him again, unaware he thinks they misunderstood his silence. Kai then interrupts their gratitude, announcing he has a favor to ask of them. They listen intently, curiously wondering what their rescuer could possibly need. He explains that when he eventually meets their father, the powerful Duke, he needs them to intervene on his behalf if he accidentally offends the man. This simple favor, he claims, will make them even for the legendary medicine he provided. Karen erupts in disbelief, shocked he'd equate a priceless elixir with such a small task. But Kai is completely serious, admitting that powerful people terrify him more than anything. His number one priority, he thinks to himself, is simply staying alive. His words leave the two women stunned by his unexpectedly pragmatic reasoning. One of them realizes he must be hiding his true identity for a reason, while Karen points out that his cover story is incredibly weak and unconvincing. To their surprise, the armored man simply agrees without any argument. Karen reassures him that her father would not get angry regardless of his behavior. Lifia agrees with a gentle smile, while Kai is just relieved to hear it. As they approach the carriage, Karen asks if he intends to wear the armor the entire time. Kai immediately assumes it would be rude not to remove it in their presence. But she quickly clarifies, explaining she was only concerned for his comfort. Then Lifia chimes in, admitting she would personally like to see his face. This directness leaves Karen completely flustered, calling her sister rude for asking. Our boy is left confused by the sudden and personal request. Unfazed, Lifia simply offers a serene smile, completely ignoring the awkwardness. Internally, she reflects on his sincere nature, noting he is hard to read but not arrogant. From this, she concludes he is likely keeping his guard up, always prepared for the worst. This quiet strength makes her realize why Karen is so fond of him, unlike other hunters. Her thoughts drift to how fame corrupts most treasure hunters, drawing envy from all sides as their renown grows, and often leading them to become arrogant and obsessed with their own importance. Lifia reflects on his incredible power, noting he remains humble despite his fame. She marvels that he never exploits the immense debt they owe him, a true hero. Back in the carriage, Kai admits to feeling nervous, which Karen finds utterly ridiculous. He plays along, sarcastically apologizing for being such a lame rescuer. This response short-circuits Karen's brain, unable to reconcile it with an elite operative's behavior. But her companion sees through it, believing he is just indulging Karen's teasing nature. Lifia thinks back to how her sister usually deals with the nobility so bluntly. As a duke's daughter, Karen was constantly forced to entertain other high-ranking families. These potential suitors were often much older, their intentions purely political. Each one was simply looking for a marriage partner to advance their own status, leaving both her and Karen feeling weary and isolated by the endless social games. Worse, the other nobles often ignored Karen entirely, leaving her feeling ostracized, which is why seeing someone genuinely connect with her sister brings Lifia such happiness. She remembers Karen's desperate wish to see Jet Black again, leading them to the guild. And for good reason, he used a legendary elixir on Karen that their family had sought for years. Lifia reflects on the priceless elixir, a gift meant as thanks for saving Karen's life. She marvels at his request, a tiny favor in exchange for a medicine worth an entire castle. This woman finds herself wondering if anyone else in the world is quite like him. A new resolve forms within her, a desire to stay connected to this mysterious man. Changing the subject, Lifia asks how long Jet Black plans on staying in their town. She then offers to arrange a residence for him, hoping he will decide to stay. Kai gives a vague reply, admitting the town is nice but his stay depends on his feelings. But she reads between the lines, certain he is just waiting for orders from his superiors. In her mind, his mere presence in the world is enough to save so many people. She questions her own motives, wondering if her desire for him to stay is purely selfish. Her gaze hardens with a newfound and unshakable determination. This armored man turns his head, perhaps sensing her internal conflict. Finally, their carriage arrives at its destination, a magnificent and imposing mansion. An armored hand reaches for the grand entrance, preparing to step inside. Stepping through the doors, they are met by servants who welcome them to the Aldi Duchy. Arriving at the Dior Aldi ducal estate, Kai is immediately overwhelmed by the sheer opulence. Karen proudly presents the extravagant welcome as their family's way of showing respect. They even have a custom boot cleaner waiting, a gesture he finds completely absurd. She insists on a formal greeting, but Kai worries this high-ranking treatment will cause trouble. But Karen explains that disrespecting him now would be a far greater offense to their family's honor. Trapped by their rigid customs, our boy can only sweat nervously inside his helmet. Then the third rescued girl takes his hand, making him feel like he is being set up for something. She whispers that refusing their gratitude would be a crime, leaving him no room to object. This head maid and head guard then appear, formally welcoming him on behalf of the entire estate. With a polite gesture, the maid informs him the Duke and Duchess are waiting in a separate room. This girls thank him for coming, but then announce they will not be joining the meeting. One of them explains their presence would be inappropriate for such a high-stakes discussion. Lifia adds that they will be waiting in the next room in case he needs them to intervene. Karen promises to step in immediately, honoring the deal they made in the carriage. Internally, Kai panics, wishing they were coming with him but realizing he is on his own now. This head guard nervously asks Kai to surrender his weapon before meeting the Duke. Confused by the guard's hesitation, Kai simply offers his sword for safekeeping. This third rescued girl points out its importance, reaffirming their complete trust in him. As the guard explains it is standard procedure, Kai hands over the blade without protest. He then casually claims to be even stronger when fighting barehanded, shocking the guard. Karen and the other two girls are left completely stunned by his bold declaration. Overcome with excitement, the guard promises to protect the weapon with his life. Kai's stoic silence confirms he was not joking, leaving the guard in utter awe. A flashback reveals his past life where he was clumsy and inept with any weapon he tried. This lack of skill once led to a fatal wound, a mistake he would never repeat. It is why he trusts his fists far more than any blade, a power he honed himself. Back in the present, our boy realizes he is now trapped with no easy way to escape. His thoughts drift to the terrifying power of the Duke, praying the meeting goes well. This head maid then leads him forward with a gentle smile, taking him to the audience chamber. Meanwhile, the surrendered sword is revealed to be a supreme-grade masterpiece. A legendary weapon is introduced, the black blade Dillahand, which never chips or scratches. But the blade carries a dangerous flaw, its luck stat marked as completely variable. This third rescued girl asks if she can try holding it later under supervision. While Kai is inside meeting the Duke, the girls wait anxiously in the hall. This heavy doors remain shut, sealing Kai's fate with the powerful noble. To break the tension, the third girl turns to the head guard with an idea. Her eyes sparkle with excitement as she approaches the armored man. She begs him to show her his weapon, admitting she has been dying to see it. This head guard just laughs at her forwardness, while Karen seems utterly exasperated. He unsheathes a stunning, jewel-like blade, admitting it does not look very durable. As he presents the weapon, its brilliant shine leaves the young woman completely mesmerized. She immediately begins analyzing his fighting style based on the elegant sword. He then carefully instructs her on how to properly grip the weapon's hilt. Placing her hands over his, he prepares to let her feel the blade's full weight. She sweats nervously, a mix of fear and exhilaration on her determined face. A ducal knight is shocked by the impossible weight of the hero's sword. Suddenly, Karen cries out in alarm, seeing the man holding the sacred weapon. She draws her own blade, stopping the knight as everyone freezes in place. This sudden hostility leaves the entire group completely stunned and confused. Demanding the blade back, Karen watches as the knight reluctantly agrees. He marvels at the weapon, which sliced through solid stone with no effort. This knight realizes its owner must possess truly monstrous, inhuman strength. After checking on Karen, he concludes their rescuer is on another level entirely. Lifia reassures the guard, promising to explain the bizarre situation to their father. Back in the present, the two sisters wait anxiously outside the Duke's chamber. Muffled voices from within reveal the formal gratitude being offered to Kai. Karen turns to her sister, a look of sudden realization on her face. She understands now why they were kept out of the meeting with Jet Black. Lifia can sense the immense respect in their parents' voices, a deep formal bow. She knows her father must project absolute dignity to protect his family's honor. Lifia admits she feels terrible for what their parents are going through, while Karen feels awful that the Duke and Duchess had to bow to their rescuer. Seeing her sister's distress, Lifia decides to snap her out of it. She questions if Karen really has time to be moping around right now, pointing out that Karen just accidentally sliced through the stone floor tiles. Startled, Karen realizes she will have to explain her sword's incredible power, and she breaks down, worried she is just causing more trouble for everyone. She insists she did not even put any strength into the swing, leaving her completely baffled by her weapon's destructive capabilities. Defeated, Karen laments causing so much trouble as a duke's daughter. but Lifia reminds her that Kai accomplished what she could not, so she should not hold back. With a warm smile, she tells her sister there is no time for sulking. A newfound resolve seems to dawn on Karen's face. Lifia then reveals that Jet Black was trying to hide something important, speculating he healed Karen's leg despite knowing it might anger the Emperor himself. Lifia overhears her parents vowing to grant whatever their rescuer asks for. Karen wonders aloud why he refuses any reward, finding his humility baffling. But Lifia sees it differently, believing it proves he is no ordinary person. After all, the rewards a duke can offer are immense: titles, land, and endless wealth. Even introductions to high-ranking women for a potential marriage are on the table. Essentially, almost any realistic request could be granted without question. Yet Lifia finds herself wanting to see his face more than anything else. Then a strange thought crosses her mind, a desire to be the one person he keeps hidden from. Her sister immediately calls her out, warning her not to monopolize their savior. Karen then dangles a secret, offering to describe his face if Lifia confesses her feelings. A silent, intense standoff ignites between the two sisters in an instant. Their sibling rivalry crackles with unspoken tension in the quiet room. Eventually, the energy fades, leaving them in a silent, stubborn stalemate. Lifia breaks the silence, flusteredly insisting she is merely interested in him, which only gives Karen more reason to keep her sister away from the mysterious man. Karen flails in embarrassment, completely flustered by her sister's teasing words. Meanwhile, Kai sits in a tense meeting with the Duke and Duchess of Aldi. This noble couple sweats nervously, completely baffled by the situation unfolding before them. Before them sits Jet Black, whose every action defies their expectations and rattles their composure. This Duke struggles to understand why their rescuer is being so incredibly considerate. He realizes Kai is deliberately acting humble to preserve the family's dignity. Even though they owe him everything, our boy presents himself as an equal. This Duke notes he shows no sign of trying to exploit their gratitude, despite knowing he holds the power to demand immense wealth and status from them. And the Duke is keenly aware they would be powerless to refuse any of his requests. A sudden thought strikes him: this man must have ties to the Emperor himself, making Kai a person of far higher standing. Though his helmet hides all expression, he must possess backing so powerful that their own ducal authority is nothing in comparison. A normal adventurer would have simply taken the reward without a second thought. In fact, accepting a prize would have been the perfect cover to hide his true status. This Duchess whispers to her husband, wondering if this mysterious man is testing them. Her husband admits he has never liked someone so much, yet cannot read him at all. This makes Kai the most unsettling person he has ever met, a complete enigma. He feels a silent challenge from the armored man, a question of his own authority. A menacing aura radiates from Kai's helmet, amplifying the pressure on the Duke. This Duke realizes letting him leave empty-handed would stain their family's name with rumors. It is a harsh lesson that not everyone accepts rewards, a critique of his own carelessness. Kai not only saved his daughter but also gave their family a chance to heal. Refusing to wallow in regret, the Duke finds himself genuinely glad to have met him. He confesses their request is for their own honor, ashamed to impose on their savior. Our boy simply agrees to their terms as long as the request is not unreasonable. Overjoyed, the Duchess insists that thanking him is a profound honor for their family. This Duke then holds up 3 fingers, preparing to offer 3 specific rewards. Their gifts are a villa, a large sum of money, and their family's official backing. With a humble plea, they ask him to accept their gratitude in this formal way. This Duke believes he has made the right choice, seeing the villa as a new base for Kai. For their family, it is a chance to forge ties with someone under the Emperor's command. Blushing inside his helmet, our boy gladly accepts the generous offer. His gamble pays off, leaving the Duke relieved that he gave the correct response. This Duke then proposes that his daughters show Kai the villa's location and interior today. Kai gratefully accepts the tour, much to the nobleman's delight. Turning to his wife, the Duke asks her to escort their guests to the waiting girls. This Duchess politely asks Jet Black to follow her out of the chamber. As she leads him away, the Duke is finally left alone with his thoughts. Alone at last, the powerful noble sinks into his seat with a satisfied smile. A trembling hand reveals the immense stress he was under during the entire meeting. He reflects on the incredible man who saved his daughter's life. Meanwhile, Kai feels the immense pressure of the meeting finally hit him. Karen remarks that he does not look like someone who just survived a nerve-wracking ordeal. He simply points to his helmet, explaining it hides his true expression. Lifia warmly welcomes Kai, telling him to make himself at home, but Karen immediately questions his calm demeanor, asking him to act more excited. She insists that anyone would be thrilled to receive such a generous reward from the Duke. Inside his helmet, Kai is actually ecstatic, admitting he was completely broke. A moment of reflection, however, reveals the terrifying pressure of accepting such an immense gift. He imagines celebrating wildly if he were alone, barely containing his true feelings. Lifia then interjects with a serious expression, preparing to ask a delicate question. She wonders if the reward is truly enough, offering him a chance to ask for more. Our boy is a bit lost on the concept of ducal backing, focusing on the villa and cash. He dismisses her concern, stating it was a matter for adults and not for her to worry about. Turning the tables, Kai asks if the sisters are truly okay with giving up one of their family's villas. They quickly reassure him, explaining they have many villas and feel no particular attachment to them. Karen then points out the practical difficulties of living in such a large place all alone. Lifia adds that while the garden is smaller, the building is nearly as large as their main estate. This revelation shocks Kai, who suddenly understands a villa is far more than a simple house. Kai is reminded once again just how terrifying nobles and their immense wealth can be. Lifia then asks about his plans for the villa, wondering if he will live there or use it as a base. Nervously, Kai confirms he will be living there alone, essentially using it as a base for now. This girls immediately pry into his love life, certain a famous treasure hunter cannot be single. Pressing further, they ask if he has no interest in romance, leaving him completely flustered. The sisters whisper to each other, concluding he is the arrogant type who thinks he is too good for anyone. To change the subject, Kai casually invites them to visit the villa whenever they want. This sudden offer leaves both sisters absolutely beaming with excitement. Our boy even offers them a spare key, telling them to let themselves in when he is not around. He privately reasons the villa is large enough for privacy, and visitors would keep it from feeling haunted. Overjoyed, the sisters eagerly accept his offer, promising to visit often. With that settled, Kai asks for the tour to begin and the girls are ready to leave immediately. Their destination is a stunningly grand mansion, a true symbol of ducal wealth. This interior is just as breathtaking, with elegant furnishings and a spacious sitting room. Followed by a massive, state-of-the-art kitchen fit for a royal chef. With a welcoming smile, Lifia explains that everything in the villa is a gift from their family. Standing at the door, Kai wonders if it was truly okay to accept such a luxurious home. Karen confronts him, calling his humility strange since he is so casual with her otherwise. Inside, the sheer opulence of the grand library leaves our boy completely stunned. Lifia gently urges him to sit down, wanting him to feel at home in his new estate. As he sits, Kai wonders if she is only being considerate because his leg was just healed. With arms crossed, Karen defensively insists that she is not tired in the slightest, dismissing his concern. Our boy calmly advises her not to push herself, calling her a kid. Kai reminds her that he did not use his medicine just so she could immediately overexert herself. In his mind, he realizes letting a duke's daughter overexert herself would create terrible rumors. Lifia watches on with a gentle smile, clearly touched by his concern for Karen. Seeing her stubbornness, Kai cheekily suggests she can sit on his armor instead of the sofa. Internally, he knows the answer is obvious. The sofa is far more comfortable than his armor. But Karen calls his bluff, confidently declaring that she will sit right on top of him. His teasing completely backfires, leaving our boy utterly speechless and flustered by her response. Karen settles comfortably onto Kai's armored lap, much to his surprise. He questions her actions, but she reminds him it was his own suggestion to sit. She admits she was only joking, assuming the hard metal would be uncomfortable. From the side, Lifia feels completely ignored by the two of them. She teases her sister about being lucky, though Karen insists she is not happy at all. With a sly smile, Lifia retorts that she never asked if Karen was enjoying herself. Trying to deflect, Karen asks Kai why he is still wearing his armor in his new home. He claims it is just a precaution, despite secretly wanting to take it off. In truth, he is too awkward to show his face to Lifia after their clock tower meeting. His eyes narrow as he decides to change the subject with a simple gesture. Raising his gauntleted hand, he prepares to distract the bickering sisters. He gently pats Karen on the head, leaving her completely stunned and blushing. Flustered, she demands he stop treating her like a little kid. As Karen throws a small tantrum, Lifia simply asks why he should not pat her head. Lifia then remarks on the immense trust their father has placed in Kai. Lifia explains that trusting a man with an unknown background is highly unusual for a noble. She believes her father is a shrewd judge of character and has deemed him worthy of it. Still patting Karen's head, Kai reflects on the Duke's quick assessment of his character. He concludes the nobleman must be incredibly experienced to make such a judgment call. Karen argues that using a priceless elixir on them made trusting him an obvious choice. Changing the subject, Lifia invites Jet Black to dinner, but he politely declines the offer. With a knowing smile, she simply remarks on how busy his life must be. Her sister then asks him to let them know when he will visit, but he bluntly refuses. Internally, our boy is terrified at the mere thought of facing the Duke's pressure again. He vaguely tells the sisters that his situation is far too complicated for casual visits. Seeing Karen's disappointment, Lifia gently tells her sister to let the matter go. Karen then pleads for him to at least stay in town, which he agrees to do. He recalls two powerful women who are still searching for him across the land. This leads Karen to ask if the people he is avoiding are also powerful figures. Lifia begins to stretch happily, much to her younger sister's visible annoyance. Lifia's words hang in the air, leaving Karen to stew in annoyance. Shaking her head furiously, Karen's frustration leaves Kai completely baffled. Her sister immediately asks about the strange gesture, but Karen quickly denies everything. This younger sister then reveals Lifia was trying to get him to lift his visor. From behind his helmet, Kai's eyes widen in surprise at the revelation. Lifia is utterly mortified by her sister's brazenness, hiding her blushing face in shame. Suddenly, she demands Karen get off Kai's lap, insisting she is bothering him. She then grabs his gauntlet, trying to get his attention directly. Karen simply smirks, teasing that her older sister is just jealous of her. Flustered, Lifia questions the accusation, though Kai sees no envy in her eyes. Our boy gently chides Lifia, telling her a lady of her station should not act so forward. His formal rejection leaves both of the noble sisters completely stunned into silence. Karen then demands to know why he is turning Lifia down but not her. He explains it is about her status. A high-ranking lady likely has a partner already. Lifia quietly confirms his assumption, admitting she receives many marriage proposals. Lifia cheerfully admits that despite her popularity, she is actually still single. This revelation catches Kai completely off guard, finding it genuinely surprising. He learns that men often fall for her only to become too intimidated to approach her again. Our boy sympathizes, understanding the pressure of trying to impress someone so beautiful. Karen explains her sister longs for affection, but potential suitors always get scared and flee. Flustered, Lifia begs her to stop, especially since she is talking while on Kai's lap. Karen then gives Kai a strange instruction, telling him to tap the empty sofa beside him. Confused by the request, he hesitates, unsure of what she is planning. He reluctantly follows her command, patting the cushion with his gauntleted hand. A sly look from Karen hints that this was all part of a bigger scheme. Suddenly, Lifia is sitting right beside him, asking if he understands now. This older sister gives him a playful wink, revealing her bold move. She then takes his armored hand, leaving our boy completely stunned by her forwardness. Both sisters confess they would be happy to just continue their conversation like this. Karen remarks she has never seen Lifia act so boldly as both sisters now sit on his lap. As the sisters prepare to leave, Lifia formally thanks Kai for his time. She graciously returns the sentiment, thanking him for his precious time instead. Lifia then explains the final gift, their family's official seal, will take a few days to prepare. They plan to meet again to finalize the estate arrangements, which he silently accepts. With a formal curtsy, Lifia begins to take her leave from his new home, and Karen waves cheerfully, telling him to stay safe until their next meeting. He returns the sentiment, urging them to hurry home and reassure their parents. Now inside their carriage, the sisters formally announce their departure for the day. Our boy watches from the doorway as their carriage begins to roll away from the villa. A final, simple wave from Kai bids them farewell for now. Finally alone, he removes his helmet with a deep sigh of relief. As the carriage disappears down the road, he can finally relax after the long day. Meanwhile, in the carriage, Lifia remarks on how quickly the time passed during their visit. Karen admits with a pout that she wishes they could have stayed even longer. Lifia agrees, then cheekily teases her sister about a compliment Kai gave her earlier. Lifia teases that Kai even called her by her first name, Karen. A flustered Karen can only admit that he did, trying to hide her pleasure. The sisters ponder his easygoing attitude, wondering if it is common in Verder. But Karen sees through her, accusing Lifia of wanting to stay just to see his face. Lifia's mind flashes back to the moment Kai saved her sister with the elixir, and she cannot shake the feeling he is the same person she met at the clock tower. With a sad expression, she admits to herself that she truly wanted to see his face. Seeing her sister's disappointment, Karen offers to draw a picture of him for her later. Lifia playfully dismisses the offer, doubting her sister's artistic skills would help. As Karen protests, Lifia's gaze drifts out the carriage window toward the villa. She asks her sister what she is looking at, though her own eyes are fixed on the distant knight, who has just removed his helmet, revealing his face for the very first time. Lifia is left completely breathless, her wish unexpectedly granted. Karen calls out to her sister, noticing her sudden, stunned silence. This younger sister looks on in confusion as Lifia remains utterly captivated. Karen recalls Kai's flustered reaction to her sister's teasing earlier. Lifia continues her playful jabs with a sly, knowing smile. She remarks that he kept teasing her right up until the very end. Suddenly, Karen connects the dots, realizing he is the man from the clock tower. Lifia confirms it without a doubt, watching his distant figure from the carriage. She asks if Karen truly believed their meeting was a coincidence, as her love for the tower is a secret. If he knew her secret, it would explain why he was there on such a busy day. Lifia speculates he might have anticipated Karen's arrival just to check on her healed leg. This realization that he was thinking of her leaves Karen blushing furiously. Her older sister simply concludes that Kai is an incredibly kind person. She remembers how he used a priceless elixir on them, likely facing his superior's wrath for it. He even told Karen to enjoy her freedom instead of worrying about him. His words were carefully chosen to lift any lingering guilt from her heart. This gesture, she believes, is the mark of someone who is truly strong. Lifia then wonders if he was also guarding the clock tower against any remaining kidnappers. He mulls over Lifia's subtle actions, wondering just how intentional they were. In the carriage, Lifia blushes as she considers all the new possibilities with him. She is captivated by how he operates without drawing any attention to himself. An idealized vision of Kai appears in her mind, a man she finds truly wonderful. Karen then declares she cannot wait 3 days, having so much more she wants to say. This younger sister immediately calls out Lifia for the totally dreamy look on her face. Lifia's thoughts drift to how much concern Kai showed for Karen's well-being. This realization only strengthens her desire to get even closer to the mysterious knight. Karen watches her older sister's reaction with a curious and pensive expression. This older sister then starts to worry about what their father would say if he knew. She knows that in her father's eyes, Kai is someone completely out of their reach. Still, Lifia cannot help but wonder how the Duke would truly react to the news. Elsewhere, a sudden sneeze breaks the silence, drawing a concerned question from someone nearby. At an inn, the owner laments that he is sad he will not be seeing Kai's face around anymore. He admits he had a feeling this would happen since Kai never returned the previous night. Back at his favorite eatery, Kai enjoys a hearty meal of steak and eggs. He informs the owner that he is moving out but will still come by for the food. This red-haired man is pleased, asking if he really enjoys the cooking that much. Kai's enthusiastic praise earns him a warm promise that he is always welcome. Curious, the owner then asks where he is planning to stay, offering to help find an inn. Our boy casually reveals he was given a house and will be living there for a while. This sudden news leaves his friend completely dumbfounded and at a loss for words. Kai explains that a duke gifted him the massive villa, though he tried to refuse it. His friend's shock turns to utter disbelief at the unbelievable revelation. With a slight shrug, Kai mentions the duke's family just wanted to thank him properly. This innkeeper sternly clarifies that receiving a villa from a duke is an enormous deal. While Kai thinks he is just talking about the size, his friend insists it is much more than that. He explains that for nobles, the number of villas they own is a direct symbol of their power. This means the duke valued a connection with Kai more than a piece of his own influence. This true weight of the gift finally begins to dawn on our boy, leaving him speechless. This innkeeper stares in disbelief, demanding to know what kind of person Kai really is. Kai nonchalantly claims he is just a regular guy, but his friend is not buying it for a second. He then remembers a final piece of business, offering a heavy sack as thanks for everything. His friend eyes the bag suspiciously, guessing from the sound that it is full of money. It is cash, Kai confirms, a payment for hiding him and offering helpful advice. But the innkeeper refuses, admitting that taking money from someone so connected is terrifying. Kai tries to downplay the danger, though his friend retorts that is what all scary people say. So our boy jokingly asks if he will accept it from a scary guy, which does not help at all. This innkeeper explains he feels guilty for putting Kai through the ordeal of hiding. He is referring to the stress of concealing him from a duke, a fact Kai had not considered. In fact, the red-haired man confesses he was sweating bullets the entire time. Our boy can only offer a sympathetic look, understanding the pressure his friend was under. Still, the innkeeper insists on treating his guests well, earning Kai's sincere gratitude. A bit of playful banter follows as the innkeeper gets flustered by Kai's agreement. With their conversation concluded, Kai picks up his helmet, ready to depart for his new home. As Kai secures his helmet, the innkeeper warmly asks him to visit again soon. With a final wave, our boy promises he will definitely be back to visit. His friend's eyes then fall upon the heavy sack of coins left on the counter. He is left completely bewildered by the sheer weight of the payment. Opening the sack reveals an unbelievable amount of gleaming gold coins. This man is utterly stunned, unable to believe the fortune in his hands. He questions how a supposedly stingy person could part with so much wealth. Meanwhile, at a grand cathedral, one of the three great powers in the land, a voice echoes through the hallowed halls of the holy church. One nun demands her face be released, her cheeks squished playfully. Her sister teases her about her true appearance, revealing Nina's sight was restored by an elixir. This is Marie, Nina's older sister, who seems to be enjoying the reunion. Marie asks how many times they will repeat this little game, and Nina admits it is the 7th. This older sister accuses her of doing it intentionally, which Nina playfully denies. Nina then chides her for her crude language, though Marie seems entirely unbothered. A woman in a nun's habit is chided for crossing her legs, told it ruins her looks. She complains that it is fine since only family is around to see her relaxed posture, but a sharp glint in her eyes reveals a hidden, calculating confidence, assuring her sister she knows exactly how to put on a proper act when necessary. This other sister looks away, completely flustered by her sibling's smug expression. She notes that since regaining her sight, her sister has become much more proper. This first sister teases back that for her, letting her guard down is an everyday occurrence. Their playful bickering continues as they argue back and forth over the small point. In a quiet moment, one sister reflects on how things have changed since the other could see. This girl, Nina, has been enjoying every single day with a newfound, radiant brightness. Her sibling admits they have never seen her so full of life before. Her thoughts then drift to the jet black knight, remarking on how cool he is. Nina enthusiastically agrees, recalling how he single-handedly saved her with a priceless elixir. He even used 3 of the rare potions just for them, a truly selfless act. Her sister teases that with his kind heart and handsome face, Kai is totally Nina's type. In a quiet sanctuary, a nun named Nina claims she has no type, having just regained her sight. Her companion Marie smirks, playfully telling Nina not to aim for the knight known as Jet Black. This golden crest of verdure confirms their suspicions, only they could give away elixirs so freely. Pursuing him would be difficult, as Marie points out he'd have hundreds of rivals. A flustered Nina argues her age is precisely why she has a chance, much to Marie's amusement. This younger sister turns away, completely flustered by her own bold declaration. With a knowing smile, Marie seems to enjoy seeing her siblings so worked up. Another nun interrupts, asking Lady Marie and Lady Nina to begin their duties for the day. Marie gracefully accepts the responsibility, while a pouting Nina looks on from the side. Turning to her sibling, she gently asks if she is ready to begin their work. Startled, Nina can only stammer out a yes, still flustered from their earlier talk. In a moment of clarity, her eyes widen as she calls out to her sister. These two Ansage sisters walk off together, devoted to their duties within the sanctuary. Yet both eagerly await the day they can once again meet the knight known as Jet Black. 3 days later, Marie is seen slumping over, completely exhausted from her duties. A familiar voice playfully calls out Marie for slacking off on her duties. Startled from her rest, Marie insists she is on break, recognizing Lifia immediately. This nun points out that Lifia is not scheduled for a visit and should not be in the back garden. Lifia just laughs it off, inviting her friend to sit down and chat for a while. As they settle onto the bench, the two friends begin to catch up. Marie then asks why Lifia's younger sister, Karen, did not come along with her. Her friend explains that Karen is outside with Nina while she tidies the grounds. With their family's business concluded, Lifia reveals it is finally their turn to see Kai. This news makes Marie sigh, knowing her own sister has been desperate to meet him again. Chuckling, Lifia admits Karen is exactly the same, having found a new person to follow around. She even jokes that Karen practically lives in the Jet Black Knight's lap now. Despite being told to leave, Karen apparently stayed by his side the entire time. Marie wonders aloud if Kai has some special quality that naturally draws people to him. With a soft smile, Lifia calls him the most wonderful person she has ever met. She promises Marie will understand completely once she finally gets to meet him too. Marie playfully asks Lifia if she gave Kai a huge reward during their meeting. This nun then presses for the details, insisting it is just for her own reference, explaining that her own house Ansage needs a baseline so their gift is not inappropriate. Lifia agrees on the condition of absolute secrecy, threatening to expose Marie's true self if she leaks it. With a hushed tone, she begins to reveal the full extent of her family's gratitude. This first part of the reward was an entire villa along with a substantial monetary prize, and to top it all off, they even offered him the use of their family seal. This news leaves Marie utterly dumbfounded, questioning if that was really all they offered. For a man who saved Karen's life with a universal elixir, she feels it is nowhere near enough. A flustered Lifia admits she feels the same, insisting her hands were tied in the matter. But Marie is not buying it for a second, retorting that there was definitely more they could have done. This noblewoman clarifies that the knight did not just refrain from asking, he actively refused the gifts they presented. Her companion finds this unbelievable, declaring that such a selfless person could not possibly exist. A silent, determined look from Lifia confirms she is telling the absolute truth. She then repeats her earlier sentiment, declaring him the most wonderful person she has ever met. Lifia reveals her father also feels completely outmatched by the mysterious knight. Apparently, the Duke is now obsessively planning countermeasures for his next encounter with him. This implies the Duke feels he cannot even hold a conversation without intense preparation. Smiling, Lifia adds that her father's good mood vanishes at the mere mention of Jet Black. A knowing smile spreads across Marie's face as she agrees with the assessment. She reflects on how both of their younger sisters were saved by an unbelievable person. Lifia agrees, adding that only a man who intimidates nobles could have succeeded. This conversation then shifts, with Lifia asking if Marie truly believes Jet Black is part of Verdure. Her father even gave a strict order, never do anything that would make him their enemy. Marie points out how complicated things would get if he is from Verdure, especially regarding a reward. This nun speculates he is in a position of far greater power and can likely obtain anything he desires. But Lifia recalls that when they spoke, he seemed far more pleased with the money than the ducal seal. This revelation leaves Marie completely baffled, muttering that his priorities make no sense. After all, money is something that can be earned through simple work. But a ducal seal is a permanent guarantee of backing, an invaluable connection no amount of work can buy. Marie muses that a Verdure with imperial backing would surely prefer money over another family crest. But Lifia believes he was happy because the gift would allow him to help even more people in need. She considers that while a villa is a fortune, Kai's armor and weapons are already beyond incredible. Lifia decides they should offer him more money, then teases that Jet Black is totally Marie's type. A flustered Marie retorts that her sister Nina said the exact same thing. With a knowing smile, Lifia simply comments on how perceptive Nina truly is. Marie quickly turns the tables, accusing Lifia of being the one who is obviously smitten with the knight. She playfully threatens to tell Jet Black everything, sending Lifia into a complete panic. Elsewhere, Lifia expresses her excitement to finally meet him, admitting she was worried when he was nowhere to be found. Her sister Karen complains that even in his conspicuous armor, they still cannot seem to locate him. Karen then voices her concern that he might have been punished for using the rare elixir on them. But Lifia confidently dismisses the idea, certain he would scold her for feeling guilty. Karen remembers his exact words, telling her to enjoy her freedom instead of worrying about him. Hearing this brings a wave of relief to Lifia, who thanks her sister for the reassurance. Karen adds that he sounded annoyed at the thought of being reprimanded, suggesting he might have even defied his superiors. Karen speculates he is too valuable for his organization to ever punish him for his actions. A blushing Lifia agrees, finding his rebellious nature very much like him. She then asks if her sister knows where the knight is staying in town. Karen recalls inviting him to dinner, but he seemed far too busy to accept. He politely turned down the offer, explaining he had other duties to attend to. They wonder if he is out patrolling or helping others under the cover of night. Lost in thought, Lifia cannot help but blush, admitting to herself how cool he is. Her sister notices this infatuation, teasing that she has some nice information to share, revealing that Kai often eats lunch at a simple inn called Eldi. This name of the inn echoes in Lifia's mind as a plan begins to form. Karen immediately realizes her sister is planning on going there right now. A flustered Lifia denies it, claiming they must thank him properly first. But she immediately starts walking away with a determined stride. Her younger sister deadpans, asking if she is just going to be left behind. Elsewhere, Kai walks through town, completely unaware he is about to be found. This Jet Black knight arrives at his usual pub, ready for a quiet meal. But inside, Lifia is already questioning the shopkeeper about his arrival time. This poor man stammers, unsure how to respond to her intense inquiry. Her demeanor shifts, demanding he reveal the information immediately. Terrified, the shopkeeper admits that the knight is due to arrive any moment now. Outside the door, Kai overhears the interrogation, wondering why the man is being grilled. Lifia's questioning continues, now asking about Kai's preferred seating. With a sharp command, she insists he disclose every last detail. This shopkeeper breaks completely, pointing out the exact spot where Kai always sits. Her investigation then moves to the menu, asking what he typically orders. After learning he has no set meal, she demands to know what he ate last. This man points out yesterday's dish, and Lifia immediately orders the same thing. Kai is taken aback by the sheer terror in the shopkeeper's voice. He considers just leaving, thinking the other woman seems kind enough to not cause real harm. Yet he cannot just walk away, feeling obligated to help the man who has been good to him. Hoping another customer might diffuse the tension, Kai cautiously decides to step inside the shop. His eyes immediately confirm his suspicion. Someone is definitely getting hassled in there. A flustered shopkeeper tries desperately to hold back two very insistent nuns. From the doorway, Kai mentally offers his support, telling the poor man to hang on. It is Karen, forcing her way past the owner with an armored companion at her side. Deciding it is best not to get involved, Kai tries to pretend he saw nothing at all, but his entrance immediately draws the attention of everyone in the room. This entire conversation abruptly stops, leaving him in a sudden, awkward silence. This armored nun instructs a blushing Karen to hold her position, who meekly agrees. To his confusion, the armored woman then begins walking directly toward him. This shopkeeper sees his chance, calling out to Kai for help in his predicament. He beams with relief, promising to repay this stranger with a fantastic meal. Instead, a nervous Karen approaches the knight, asking if she can take his order. Kai can only stare in confusion as the shopkeeper slips away in the background. With a radiant smile, Karen clasps her hands, overjoyed to have finally found him. A golden cross and a star-shaped pendant mark her as a member of the Holy Church. With a hopeful blush, Nina asks the jet black knight if he remembers her at all. Kai immediately reassures her, glad to see that she is looking so well after their last encounter. Overjoyed by his response, she clutches her pendant, equally happy to see him in good health. From a nearby doorway, the shopkeeper from before begs Kai not to punish him for his earlier silence. This man apologizes profusely for his behavior, admitting he was completely out of line. Waving his hands in relief, the shopkeeper thanks Kai for his unexpected leniency. Kai admits he almost did not recognize her, noting how different she looks in her new clothes. Posing proudly in her nun's habit, Nina asks him if the new look suits her well. He compliments her sincerely, adding it will look even better as she gets older. Pointing to the cross on her sleeve, Kai realizes he never knew she was part of the Holy Church. As Nina smiles at his observation, another armored nun watches them from behind her. This mysterious companion stares intently at Kai, her face completely hidden by a helmet. Changing the subject, Kai asks Nina how her eyesight has been since he last saw her. She beams with gratitude, declaring her vision is perfect, all thanks to his incredible elixir. To confirm her recovery, Kai gently tests her vision by holding up a single finger. He then holds up two, which she correctly identifies with a cheerful peace sign. This final test is 5 fingers, and she once again answers correctly with a bright smile. With his helmet now off, a relieved Kai is genuinely happy to see her doing so well. Nina explains she can finally enjoy her days, revealing she could not even see her family for years. Her heavy confession makes Kai sweat, prompting a flustered apology from the young nun. He tells her to simply enjoy her new life, insisting that is the only thanks he needs. Filled with determination, she promises to do her absolute best to live happily. Just then, the shopkeeper returns with 2 large plates of food, announcing their meal is ready. A massive portion is set before Nina, who gasps in awe at the sheer amount of food. Her armored companion asks if she really ordered the large size, and Nina shyly confirms she did. Marie points out that the large portion is for adults, but Nina explains she wanted to eat the same meal as Kai. She blushes, admitting that was the entire reason she came to this specific inn today. Kai seems to understand her simple, heartfelt reasoning, watching her with a thoughtful expression. Marie reassures her they will help finish it, though Kai mutters that even he finds that portion challenging. A blushing Nina thanks him for his consideration, her armored companion equally flustered beside her. Kai then tells them not to wait for his food, urging them to go ahead and eat as they please. Knowing they have a curfew, he insists it would be a shame to let the fresh meal get cold. These 2 nuns take his advice, saying grace before their identical meals. With their first bites, both women still seem to be blushing from the knight's unexpected kindness. Overwhelmed by the delicious flavor, they agree that the meal is absolutely wonderful. A pleased Kai agrees with them, boasting that the food at this inn is always fantastic. Suddenly, the shopkeeper slams a mug down, questioning why Kai is taking credit for his cooking. This man complains about his rough treatment, but Kai explains he let it slide due to the earlier scare. In fact, Kai admits he even took the blame with her bodyguard to smooth things over for the shopkeeper. A smiling Nina observes their banter, commenting on how close he and the shopkeeper seem to be. While Kai claims they are on good terms, the shopkeeper retorts he'd have kept his distance if he knew Kai's connections. Nina and the innkeeper find common ground, agreeing it is difficult dealing with such a secretive person. This shopkeeper's agreement, however, is far more panicked as he stammers his reply. Kai calmly points out the man's sudden slip into casual speech, breaking the formal tension. A flustered armored nun asks Kai to overlook her behavior, which he agrees to for Nina's sake. Beaming with joy, Nina insists she is not displeased, asking her bodyguard to speak more casually. This whole exchange is too much for the poor shopkeeper, who begs them to spare him. Kai finds the shopkeeper's terrified reaction amusing, but the man retorts that Kai is the strange one. As the meal begins, Nina cuts into her steak, ready to ask Kai a question. Apologizing for the sudden interruption, she prepares to ask him something important. This young nun explains there is something she needs to ask him directly. Clutching her pendant, she explains that her time outside is unfortunately very limited. With a hopeful expression, she asks to set a date so she can visit and thank him properly.